I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it. I'm ready to do it. I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now. I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame. Show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd, so turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Welcome to the Logitech G Challenge USA Regional Qualifiers powered by Beyond Entertainment. My name is Frank Bowen and I'm joined today by Luke Crane. Luke, how are you doing?
Doing really well, thanks, Frank. It's great to be here, involved in one of the biggest esports competitions in the world. And finally, we're bringing it to the United States and Canada.
Absolutely. Now, before we jump into those races today, let's take a quick look at our format and prizing. Today's racers are competing in our regional qualifier. Well, they'll be trying to earn their spot in our regional final. For each of our 8 online qualifiers, the top 3 racers from PC and the top 2 racers from PS4 will move on. Additionally, our first, second, and third place finishers on each platform today will be walking away with $250 for first place, $150 for second place, and $100 for third place. Not too shabby. And going forward, the finalists from our 8 online regional qualifiers will move on to the regional final. Of those 40 finalists, only 1 PC racer and 1 PS4 racer will advance. The winners of our regional final will also receive $1,000, a Logitech G product bundle worth $800, including a G29 and G920 steering wheel, a Playseat Evolution LGC edition, a G935 headset, and a travel package to the Logitech G Challenge Global Final, where they will face off against the winners from Europe, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. Now, these elite racers are going to be battling it out on LAN, where we will crown one winner as the G Challenge champion, earning their invitation to compete in the finals of the McLaren Shadow Project. So Luke, you were not kidding when you said that this is a big, big move for e-racing and esports.
Well, just look at the stipulations we've got there. People can win prizes at every stage in this competition on both platforms. So today, like you said, $250 to the winner of each race, then $150 to second, and then third spot will get themselves $100. But then they advance to another stage of the competition, which will be after 8 qualifying rounds, where they can win $1,000 and a big package from Logitech and Playseat. And I actually use all of that equipment, so I know how good that is as a prize. But then they get to advance again to the world final to then potentially go and race for McLaren. It doesn't get any better for that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So guys, if you're tuned in to the stream right now and have any interest at all, tweet out the stream, tell your friends, spread the word, because there's a ton of opportunity here to win prizes and advance. But before we get into the race, let's take a look at one more thing. So the drivers today are going to be racing in the 2016 McLaren 650S GT3 on the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Now, I was down on the track this morning, and I just got to say, it's a perfect summer day outside, not a cloud in the sky, so drivers are not going to have to worry about the weather today, but something they may have to look out for is the corkscrew. Luke, can you tell us a little bit more about this track?
Oh, well, just bring up the corkscrew straight off the bat here. And it's one of those corners that you cannot see the exit line once you go over the crest of the hill. So you are basically picking out a tree, you're picking up part of a fence to be able to turn the car right in the second phase of that corner. But the nature of this circuit is it's so difficult to overtake. So qualifying will be key. And also the curbs here are like ice. So if you get on the power too early on the exit of corners, you will spin that car all the way around. And with our format, it's only 10 minutes qualifying and a 20-minute timed race. One mistake could be vital in not qualifying for the next set of races.
Yeah, so definitely a lot to look out for down on the track, but I know we've got a lobby full of eager racers waiting, so we will jump into this gameplay as soon as everything is all set. But for now, here is your full list of competitors for today's race. And Luke, any of these names or anything jump out for you here? Anyone we should be keeping an eye on?
No, to be honest, my background is Project Cars 2. That's the main game that I'm involved with within esports. And the beauty of this lobby is I do not recognize any of those names. There's one or two that I may have come across before, but nothing really sticks out about their ability. And obviously, with the Logitech G Challenge, we have got people like Christian Kwiatniewski. We've got people like Igor Fraga, who's, they're the biggest names in sim racing right now. And they were unknown 18 months ago, 2 years ago. Could one of these guys be the very next, world famous sim racer?
Yeah, and you were talking to me about Igor Fraga a little bit earlier, but for any new viewers or anyone maybe just tuning in or anyone just unfamiliar with that story, do you want to go into a little bit of background on sort of how that name came about?
Yes, Igor Fraga he's from Brazil, but he grew up in Asia. He's been everywhere in the world. He lives in Italy. He's lived in Italy for a little bit as well. A really nice fella, but no one had heard of him in the sim racing world. Then he went won the FIA GT Sport Manufacturers Cup, and I can't remember where that was now. It's a huge event, but he won the GT Sport, basically the World Championships for that game, and then very closely followed by a win at the McLaren Shadow Project. He was the all-time winner last season, so he got the job with McLaren. But then GT Sport and, of course, Fernando Alonso Racing helping him out, as well as Logitech hugely. He's now driving in the Formula 3 for real as well. So they're sponsoring his season. So he's not only the best in the world right now in sim racing, but he's racing in real-world racing because of it.
Yeah, and when I heard that story, I was just blown away. It's kind of like that. It's like living the dream. It's what a lot of these racers here today are shooting for now. And I think we're into these time trials right now. So Luke, do you want to take it away with these qualifying laps?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got cockpit cam here. Yeah, we're on board with Auto Freak 57. We're around turn 3 then, up towards turn number 4. This corner hit the apex perfectly here. You can keep on the power throughout the corner, but unfortunately they just had to step off. But the curb on the exit of turn 4, you do not want to be going anywhere near. If you get the rears on there, light up the rears, you will spin the car all the way around. We then head up the hill here, around turn 5, up towards a blind left-hander here. And again, you've got to trust the car that is going to grip the circuit. You've got to trust it will not run out wide onto the desert. Once you get across the white lines there, it will drag you into the barrier, and then we come into one of the most famous corners in all of racing motorsport world. It is the corkscrew, and again you can see there is a blind right-hander on the exit of the corkscrew. Then we've got this left-hander here, and again it's all about on the entrance of this corner, so you can maximize your exit speed. We've then got a 90-degree right-hander for the penultimate corner here at Laguna Seca, and then we see there's a pit entrance there. Hopefully none of these guys will be wanting to do that or going through there during the race. And then we come up to the last corner here, and it's vital you use a lot of curb on the inside. Run out nice and wide. Do not get all four wheels over the white line. Otherwise, it will indeed invalidate your lap time. And then across the line we go. And that will be provisionally pole with a 1:26.000.
All right, excellent. And yeah, something to keep in mind too is while we're down here on Laguna Seca today, for all 8 of these qualifiers, they're going to be on different tracks. So if you go to actualvision.com/GChallengeUSA, that's where you can find out not only more information about the G Challenge itself, but also register and then see when those upcoming qualifiers are and what tracks you'll be racing on. Absolutely.
There is a big opportunity for you guys out there, and girls, of course. you might not even know how good you are at the game. There might be a lot of single-player players out there who've never played online, and they beat the AI all the time. They're like, well, I'm pretty good at this game, but they're a bit worried. Oh, I don't know whether I'm that good. Come give it a go. It is free to enter, and you get a shot at winning money every week, and you get a shot to potentially drive for McLaren, one of the biggest names in motorsport, not only history, but right now in the world of motorsport. So, the opportunities here are endless, and it is free.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things too. With Logitech G and their racing, peripherals, gaming products. I mean, enter one of the races. Who knows? You might see yourself in that top 3, and then you're in the money, and then you can invest that money into better equipment. Up your racing skills, win more races, qualify for more events, and maybe see yourself on into that global final where you'll be going up against all the winners of the different regions from around the globe. So really a unique and quite amazing and impressive opportunity with these races here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have got on PlayStation 4 64 slots every single week, and on PC 96. So come and get yourselves involved, guys. Again, sign up at actualvision.com/Logitech G. And again, it is free to sign up. The only thing you will need is you'll need to be active on a Discord server. We ask you to be on that so we can get you in the lobbies and all that good stuff. But it's very, very simple to do, and it should be really, really exciting. Just like this here, we've got qualifying right now, and all of a sudden there, driver 13 is currently on pole position, 1.5 tenths clear of the Zebra. Again, I've never heard of any of these guys, but this is brilliant right now. The Zebra, what a name that is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And watching these times, I mean, these are competitive times too. I was, kind of had my eyes in the racing chat on Discord. And I mean, I got to say too, off the bat, what an awesome community to be a part of. If you've been in, say, different communities in the past, you may encounter some people who are maybe, we'll just call it less than polite online. But I mean, these guys in the chat were all incredible. They're sharing information. They're helping each other set up. They're helping each other register. I mean, it seemed like undoubtedly one of the friendliest communities that I've seen online. And I was, I'm new to the whole scene, and I got to say I was blown away by it. I mean, they seem so warm and welcoming. And so if you are even hesitant about it, I've got to say it's a community kind of unlike any other.
Yeah, for sure. You'll notice some names later on. THR, they will have, I believe, 3 drivers in the PC final today. And you obviously, Frank, had seen their names in the Discord server. Yeah. They are some of the very best drivers in the world, but they were the most prominent in trying to help people. They're like the nice guys of the esports scene. We actually had Operator, who you'll see racing. He got to the Project Cars 2 World Championship Finals, which was in May. And he turned up because he's from America. He come over to London in the UK, and he turned up in a full red, white, and blue, stars all over him, dressed up proper American. He's a real character in the sim racing scene. But not only is he a character, but he's a really top guy. And again, they just love helping each other out. And I guess they see the bigger picture. They see that esports needs to, it needs to be inclusive to really progress. So that's what they're trying to achieve. Really good to see.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I even saw them posting, some like video tutorials. So if you hadn't raced this track before, they were posting videos about, okay, here's your lines to take. Here's where you should be braking. Here's what you should be looking out for. And I mean, it was just really awesome to see. So I gotta say, if you guys are even the slightest bit interested, go check out actualvision.com/GChallengeUSA. Get more information and enter. The opportunity is here. And like you mentioned, there's so many spots available. We have kind of a limited number today, just being the first qualifier. We're sort of getting out, but these qualifiers are going to be running all the way into August. So there's plenty of time to practice up and take your shot at it.
Yeah, there's week 2 next week. So it's normally every other weekend is going to be the Logitech G Challenge for the United States, but next week is actually week 2, and then it will progress every other weekend. So come and get involved. It'd be nice if we could get the links posted in chat, so you guys can make it easy as possible for you all to go and get yourself involved. But I tell you what, let's talk about today's event right now, because the Zebra was in the lead in qualifying. He's actually slowing down now towards the corkscrew, and he will get another lap time in, because if he crosses the line before the time remaining goes down to 0, he will be able to finish that lap. But it's all about this guy here. Driver 13 was, well, 1.5 tenths of a second behind the Zebra, but now has found his pace, and he has taken the Zebra on, and currently is winning that little battle. In third spot is Dark King 12 in that very nice number 11 livery there, the McLaren 650S GT3. That's the car we'll be using every single week as well, ladies and gentlemen. We then got Auto Freak 57, who is in 4th position, 1.3 seconds off the pace. We're actually missing 3 drivers, so we should have had 10 here today. Unfortunately, those 3 could not make it to the actual final race. But again, there's so many opportunities for you guys and girls at home. Well, actually, we just got Fly for a White Guy then in 6th position now. What a name that is, by the way. And Frank, that's the beauty of online gaming. You can be your own personality. You can call yourself what you want to call yourself, and you don't have. It's not like motorsport where you're under a microscope and you're always on camera. Everyone knows who you are. Like, you could be, who you want to be online.
Yeah, you get a little bit more of that, personality showing through. So Fly for a White Guy, and he's got the matching white McLaren. You can express yourself a little bit more. You can sort of build yourself a little audience too. We got things like, social media now to pull in fans and that sort of thing. So I think going forward too, it might be fun to try and highlight some of these new drivers, these new racers, do a little maybe interview, get to know some of these guys who are trying to make a name for themselves.
Absolutely. They've got 8 weeks now, and again, if you win and you already qualify for the regional final, you can still sign up every week to try and take the prize money on offer. Again, it's $1,000 across 2 platforms every single week. But we've now got second place here, the Zebra. Can he go pole at the death here in qualifying? His last opportunity. He doesn't improve, so he's going to be second here. Fly for a White Guy then is coming around the final corner now. Ooh, a little bit too much speed there. Actually managed to hook it up nicely, and you can see that gets really squirmy on the curbs. And is he going to improve? He's currently 4.3 off the pace, and I guess we'll find out very shortly as it will be listed here. And there we go. So driver 13 is on pole position. The Zebra is in second. Dark King is in third. Auto Freak 57 is in fourth. Twisted is in fifth. Fly for a White Guy did not improve. Well, he did improve actually by a second, but it didn't push him up the order. And then we've got Dogo Polis, who is in seventh position. Here we go then, Frank, is our first race of, well, actually, with the regional qualifiers, we are going to be streaming 16 of these races, so it's the first of 16.
Yeah. So keep in mind, this is on PS4 right now. PC is going to be racing after this. Luke, any last things that we should be looking out for before this race gets underway here?
Not really. Some of these guys may take a little bit longer with their readying up. They've got 2 minutes from now, from when I've readied up to go to the next session. They have 2 minutes. Some of them will be wanting to fluff their special pillow they use. That's, again, the beauty of sim racing. They've all got different gear. They've all got their different quirks and whatnot. They have a sip of their favorite drink. Go for a wee break. They can do all sorts here. So it's just about feeling comfortable. They've got 20 minutes now to do the business really and bring that money home.
Yeah, keep in mind, guys, with the racers we have here, I mean, it's a tight race to get in that money position. But again, the opportunity, we've got to bring that up again. So, not just are they competing for a spot in that regional final that gets them a shot to go on to the global final, but every qualifying race on each platform has a chance at a cash prize. So our first place driver today going to be winning $250, second place $150, and third place $100. So, I mean, if you're at home, again, wondering, should I sign up? Absolutely. I mean,
we've had worse Sundays, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know I have. And this is one of the best ways I could imagine spending a Sunday. You get to watch some races and watch some people win some awesome prizes.
Imagine how many grilled cheese sandwiches from Denny's you could buy with just $100. I was in America 3 weeks ago, and I'm blown away by the grilled chease sandwiches at Denny's.
Yeah.
By the way. Best thing ever. Best thing ever.
We got to have you swing by then, and we'll. If you're impressed by Denny's, man, it's only up from there. Denny's here is man. We'll talk after. I'll send you some links, some places to check out, because if you're blown away by Denny's, man, we got a lot to show you. I'm more quantity over quality, mate. So that's how I roll.
Okay. Well, here we go then. It's about to kick off. Actually, we've lost someone from the lobby there, so hopefully they have not pressed the red button of death. But we've got 6 drivers then competing for $250 for first, $150 in second, and $100 in third. There's the 3 red lights. We go green here at Laguna Seca, and it's a Logitech G Challenge USA leg, race number 1 on PlayStation 4. And while the Zebra's got a great start, but look at this here. We have got Fly for a White Guy up from 6th to 3rd position here off the rip. Great bit of work by him. And down in towards turn number 1 then, and they're all going to get the brakes nicely. A little bit of contact. No, I think they're all good here. And, well, for our first race, oh, someone's been turned around there. Fly for a White Guy getting across the bonnet then of, by the looks of things, Twisted XV3. So that's not good. Now Twist is trying to go around the outside to regain that position, and it's not worked out for him. But the front 2 here, Frank, are off and rolling.
Yeah, and like you were mentioning, like Fly for a White Guy, able to make his name for himself. We saw him in that qualifying trial. Didn't place very high, but right off the rip, taking the lead and being chased by the Zebra right now. So yeah, an opportunity to really make a name for yourself, get out on the track and kind of show your skills off. And these guys can enter again. We've got 8 weeks of qualifying. There's tons of opportunity to improve and to win some money.
Well, absolutely. So, for instance, if these 2 guys were to finish first and second, like we've got them in right now, the pressure's off, right? They both qualify for the regional final. They're all good, but then they've got 7 more weeks where they can relax, they can really enjoy it and work on their weaknesses. So clearly they're very, very good already, but they're going to have weaknesses that they can, sharpen, if you like, sharpen their tools moving forward, and they can, you don't want to be that guy that's on week 8, you're like one of the quick guys that hasn't qualified yet. So week 1 is absolutely vital for these guys.
Yeah, and too, we might have some new viewers who might not be as, up to date on something like sim racing here. So, maybe for some of the viewers out there, break down how technical this can get and some things to look out for, maybe compared to, say, the, arcadey style racing games that people might be more familiar with at home.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's such a tough, in-depth sim. It's Project Cars 2. Like right now, so the difference between qualifying and indeed being on circuit now racing is the dirty air from the car in front. So to tell you what the dirty air effect is for anybody that doesn't really understand that, so right now you can see that driver is pushing or punching a hole in the air. I guess you can't see it. That's a mistake. That's going to be a slowdown penalty here as well for running all 4 wheels off the track over the white line. And Zebra will get an opportunity to make an overtake here. And drivers can maybe try and take his slowdown penalty on the racing line. But he will now, if he does not slow down, he will get a mark next to his name. It'll be red, and then he will have time added to his finishing time here. So he could still win the race on track, but the seconds will be added. Oh, he's made a big mistake into the penultimate corner here, and that's going to be another slowdown. And the Zebra's pressure is starting to pay off here, Frank.
Yeah, we saw him, making those excellent qualifying lap times coming around, but sometimes the pressure, those nerves, and like you said, a much more technical game than what people might be used to at home. So those little mistakes, you can pay for them dearly out on the track here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the difference between qualifying and racing, and you see there the Zebra trying to make a little snifter up the inside. That didn't quite work out for him. And in all fairness here, driver 13 is doing really well with his defense. Okay, he's made a couple of mistakes, but by the looks of things, he's not got a penalty for it. So he's all good now. He's got a chance now to just breathe and chill out. But then the Zebra is just got to keep piling that pressure on. Now he knows he's got into the head of the driver. It's all mind games at this point. But again, the difference between, some of these guys may have only ever done time trials, where it's just you versus the clock, effectively. Mm-hmm. But now with the dirty air effect of the car in front. So again, he's punching a hole in the air, which means that the downforce doesn't work for the car behind you. So when you're turning into a corner, you'll lose the rear of the car because the car's not stable anymore. So it means you have to go through corners slower. So that's where it becomes very difficult to make any overtakes. And again, the car feels completely different. So you may have practiced for 3 hours on your own, but it can never replicate what it's like to be behind another car.
Yeah, and something to mention with that too, that experience factor. You might have only done time trials. You might not be used to being down on the track with other cars surrounding you, trying to overtake you, but that's kind of the beauty of the way we have these G Challenge qualifiers set up. We'll mention it again, that there's 8 weeks of these qualifying rounds, so you can build up that experience. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of our drivers in, 3rd, 4th, and 5th start working their way up through those ranks with a little bit more experience, and they might end up qualifying for that regional final.
Well, you say that, but there's people in the chat right now who could stop that from happening. You could be the driver that qualifies through. Again, you know, you've got an opportunity to race for $250 as the winner each week for 7 weeks up into World September. So there's plenty of opportunities. Again, head to actualvision.com/Logitech G. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter as well, and if you've got any questions, I'm more than happy throughout the week to answer your questions. Send me a DM at actualvision on Twitter as well. And we've got plenty of people that will be able to help you out to get yourself involved. But again, if you feel like you're, you know, pretty good at the game, or you've never raced online before, just come and give it a go. It's your opportunity right now. You know, your time is now, as they say.
Yeah, and you know, just something to mention here too, we're kind of focusing in on this battle happening between first and second place, but keep in mind, third place right now is winning $100 as well. So even though he's not scrapped up in this, you know, fight for first, he's still going to be potentially walking away with that $100. So there's even a battle if you're not, you know, okay, you're not number one. Oh, well, that's fine. If you're not, even if you're not number second, you could be in fourth and fifth and still have a shot at that $100.
You say that he's quite far off the pace here of second. Second position actually has a 2-second penalty right now. So net value, we've got Dark King is only 1 second behind. So if he gets within 2 seconds of the driver in front, when this race ends and he crosses the line, he will be pushed into second spot because of that penalty. So, you know, $150 is on the line for him now at this point. You can see that, of course, driver 13 here, he's almost checked out at this point. He did look like he was under a lot of pressure, but he's ridden that storm there, Frank, hasn't he? And now he looks the class of the field.
Yeah, and it might be, like you said, that whole experience thing. Maybe he's just used to the time trial type aspect, so he was able to get that low qualifying time and get himself a good position off the start of the race, but then maybe was a little shaken up. I know we had a little bit of that touch earlier right off the start too, which might have caused some positions to get shifted around, but I mean, he's still, you know, performing well and might be someone to look out for in these upcoming weeks.
Absolutely, but you know, he can't, pardon the pun, take his foot off the gas at this point because, you know, it's only 1.5 seconds behind, although there is a 2-second penalty, and he will see that on his heads-up display. But yeah, again, one mistake and it will all come undone here. Although the top three here, again, the top three are battling for money today. You can see that actually in fourth position, it's 16.9 seconds now down the road from first position. So the top three are all good, but it's that top two that qualify for our regional finals.
That's right, and that is each week as well. So we'll be taking, you know, 2 of our top finishers from PS4 on to those regional finals. But keep in mind too, you can enter these every week, and if you've already qualified, then you're just not qualifying again, and it bumps down to the next person. So if we're seeing these guys week after week, that opportunity opens up even wider as some of these maybe more experienced racers have qualified. So you have that shot at the money as well, but then you also have that shot at qualifying for the regional final. So keep that in mind too, that you know, in these upcoming weeks, while first, second, and third will be winning that money, the qualifying drivers might be bumped down even in that position a little bit as more and more people move on.
Yeah, absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more there. And I just thought we might just talk a little bit about the penalties here, and maybe the strategy from the drivers. So some people who don't really understand what the penalty system is. So basically, if you go across the white lines, or if you cut a corner, and you gain an advantage from it, the game deems that you've gained an advantage. You have to slow down for a specific amount of time so you get a little notification come up on your screen, and it just goes bing. It's the most annoying sound ever, and no one ever wants to hear it. But then you slow down sufficiently, you will then lose that notification, and that is fine. You've taken your penalty, you're all good. If you ignore it, you will receive a time penalty, just like the Zebra has. He's currently got a 2-second penalty. But there's a strategy to this. So in a real packed field, if you're leading the race and you get a penalty, you don't really want to take a slowdown penalty. You're more than happy to keep track position, because if you take a slowdown penalty, you'll drop down a few spots. And then you've got to battle through the pack, and that's, of course, slower. So it's sometimes worth just taking a penalty on the chin, and you're all good. I tell you what, big drama here, because the Zebra has made a big mistake here, and now Dark King is in second position. So that's $50 extra here, and automatic qualification to the regional final.
Yeah, and like you were mentioning with those penalties before, the Zebra has those penalties, so that closes the gap again between that third and fourth position. So there's a lot of strategy at play here. There's a lot of different factors to consider besides just how am I handling my car. You've got to be aware of the drivers in front of behind you, different penalties. You might think that you're, performing poorly or behind, but by the time all those penalties add up, and I know I've watched your channel some too, and some of these races, I mean, the result screen, the finishes can end up looking vastly different than how everyone crossed the line because of the way the penalties play out. So, I mean, no one's really ever, within that pack out of the race.
No, it's all about driving style as well. So some people are more aggressive and they take chances with tracks, and then some people are more reserved. We're seeing here the Dark King is very much reserved, very smooth. But you can see that the outright pace is definitely the Zebra, currently in third. You can see he's closing in very closely now. So he's got the outright raw pace, but again, high risk, high reward. But ultimately, you can make huge errors. Just to let you guys know, it's times 25 time progression as well. So we are going to go in from a day to a night scenario, so the track temperature will indeed cool down. It will become like driving on ice, and you're going to see that they're all going to need their lights on because it's going to get very dark here in the desert. I just want to answer here, Manic Master 6. I have a racing sim set up on my PC and on Xbox, a G920. Is that okay? Yes, it is. PC race will be after this as well. So, yeah, we're doing PlayStation 4 and PC. But look at this. The Zebra's very close there through the corkscrew, and it's not really an overtaking opportunity. Oh, hello. Look at the leader, though. So driver 13's made a mistake here, Frank, and he's just up the road, just up there. So $250 now is going to become a three-way battle.
Yeah, this is incredible. I mean, right off the start, it looked like it was just a battle between that first and second place, but everything can happen so quickly here out on the track. I mean, it can change at a moment's notice. Yeah.
Zebra's looking here up the inside. Could he get back up to second position? Now they know there's a chink in the armor of the leader, but look how respectful they are side by side here. Down towards turn number one. He's got to leave the room on the exit here, or on the outside, sorry. And well, you can see here that the Dark King's trying to engage a little whoop-de-wop there. Didn't quite work out for him. But now you can see that the Zebra, again, with the raw pace, I would say, and actually you can see, look at the timings there. So on the previous lap, it was 1:31.8 for driver 13, and the Zebra did a 25.9, so nearly 6 seconds. That's a huge error from our lead driver.
Yeah, and keep in mind, again, those penalties as well are going to play a factor, but the Zebra, nice on that overtake. Now, I have a little question for you as well. What should people be looking out for, or maybe if you're thinking of entering in making those overtakes and things like that? What sort of strategy goes into it?
Well, yeah, you've got to size your opponent up. So we've seen people make mistakes with the pressure from the Zebra at the start of this race, and we saw the Dark King run off the circuit a couple of times. He then sort of got a bit calmed his nerves, and he was all good on his own. But you need to size your opponent up. If they make a mistake, absolutely, make that overtake. But sometimes you've got to carve the opportunity out yourself. So you've got to sit behind them. You've got to see where you're stronger, where they're weaker. Because, invariably, you look at qualifying, they're not all qualifying with exactly the same race times. So people are losing and people are gaining at different parts of the track. So when you're behind someone, you just got to study them. Sometimes it takes, a couple of corners. Sometimes it takes 10, 15 laps. There's endurance races out there where you're doing 24-hour racing, and sometimes it takes hours. But yeah, you just got to size your opponent up and do the research effectively.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a really interesting thing, too, to point out to maybe the people watching at home, is that it's not really just about your car on the track. There's so much of that psychology that goes into it. Figuring out my opponent. Is he being more aggressive? Is he playing defensive? Is he trying to just zone me out? And all those different
big
nuances.
mistake. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Zebra there has just gone really squirmy out of turn number 4 here. Up towards turn 5, the left-hander. And again, this is for automatic qualifications in the regional. A little bit of argy-bargy. Oh, that is a big bit of contact there. The Zebra has ended up off circuit here, and the Dark King is in second. Zebra is not happy with that at all.
No, that is a heartbreak for the Zebra there. The way he was playing is almost, so well controlling that pace and around those corners, and then to have that happen is just so tough to see.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Because, again, the difference between second and third is only $50, but it's that automatic qualifying or qualification to the regional final. Top 2 on PlayStation 4 will qualify for the regional final, and on PC it's the top 3, so there's a little bit more leeway on PC, but then there's going to be more people in the lobby. But again, you guys and girls at home, if you want to get yourself involved in this is going to be round number 2 next week, and there's a big off there by Zebra. I think you might have some damage to the car from that impact with Dark King. And actually, like I said to you earlier, Frank, now we're going into nighttime. The track temperature is so much lower here, and it's so hard to keep heat in the tyres.
Yeah, so that's going to make that driving much more difficult, and players maybe who are at home practicing, that's another factor that you'll have to think about as well. But I want to touch on that storyline a little bit too, because that is absolutely heartbreaking. On PS4, for that regional final, we're going to be moving on number 1 and number 2. They will qualify, but we have those 8 qualifiers that you can enter. So that's going to be an interesting story to follow along here, because the Zebra can enter again and try to qualify again. And now we might even have a little bit of bad blood brewing between the Zebra and Dark King as well, because I know if I was in the Zebra's seat right now, I would definitely not be happy about getting bumped out of that number 2 spot.
Yeah, but you're looking at the Zebra. The Zebra was behind the leader for such a long period of time, and he was very respectful. He tried to make the opportunity happen, and it just wasn't close enough, so he didn't try and force it. Dark King, as soon as he saw a gap, he went for it. He sent it up the inside, and again, I'm sure we'll get to look at that later if someone sends in an incident report. But as it happens right now, he is in second position, and it's worked out for him right now. Again, welcome to everyone who is in the stream. Currently 3,400 people watching. If this is something you're interested in, if you have never raced in sim racing before, or you've maybe just thought about potentially getting involved, this is your opportunity. You could be the next big thing in esports. You might not even know it yet. So get yourselves involved. Go to actualvision.com/LogitechG. Come and get signed up and battle it out for, well, $1,000 in prizes every single week for 8 weeks.
Yeah, and just to mention too that these are just the smaller groupings, because this is the first week we're doing it. These qualifiers are running all the way into August, and I want to say it's, we have the availability to fill up, I think it's 64 players on PS4 and 96 on PC. So there is plenty of room, and within those, if we have that many sign up, we will be running more races, not just a final, which you are watching here right now, but where top half will advance and the bottom half will have to try again next week. So there's plenty of opportunity here to make yourself known, and like you were saying earlier, making a little bit of a personality for yourself. And I gotta say, I think Dark King is definitely living up to the name right now.
Absolutely, he's absolutely smashing it to pieces right now in terms of being in the position at the right time. But again, yeah, he's certainly going to be the pantomime villain moving forward in this championship with moves like that. And I'll be very interested to watch that back as well, to see exactly what happened there, because maybe the Zebra just didn't leave enough room on the inside. So it is, it does take 2 to tango in those situations.
Right. So race time, we've got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, but our leader has held on for quite some time here, just extending that lead out.
You say that, but there we go. There's a big error, and that's what I say. Those curbs are lethal around Laguna Seca, and you find that at most American circuits, that the curbs are flat and wide. So there's every opportunity to lose it here. And actually, it looks like Dark King may have made a mistake behind, so he's not lost too much time. But again, there's another mistake. No, he's okay. That's a pretty good line, to be fair. But again, he's taking risks now here, Frank. But he doesn't need to. It's going to be, 2 more laps this race? 1.5 now, I would say, as he gets into the final sector here. You've got a 6-second advantage. Take 3 seconds off each lap, your lap times. But then, again, at the top end of esports, if you do take a bit of concentration away from it, that's where mistakes creep in, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and you factor that into the way the qualifiers are set up too. You might want to push yourself a little bit, because you have more opportunities coming off the line. He might think in his head, you know what, I'm not too worried about the money, even though that's a great benefit. What I really want to make sure is that I qualify. So he's got a little bit of leeway there, that he can finish in both first and second and still qualify for those finals. So there's a lot at play here. We can only sort of try to guess what some of these drivers might be thinking or what's going through their head at the time. But he might just be trying to push it a little bit or take some risks he might not need to, and we'll have to see if that ends up catching up to him here. Yeah,
absolutely. He's looking pretty good at this point. Again, a couple of mistakes here, but I guess that's probably going to help him moving forward. He's going to have learned a lot from this,
right?
And to still come out on top here, I tell you, there's a battle for 5th position, by the way. Actually, no, they've just separated us slightly here. We've got 40 seconds remaining here as it comes up towards the corkscrew, and I think this is potentially going to be the last lap here, and it'd be quite sensible just to slow it down to make sure it is the last lap as well, because you don't want to do an extra lap and be that guy that didn't have to do an extra lap, but he just decided to keep going as fast as possible. And then that final lap spins it, loses everything. So
yeah, don't
very tough indeed.
Yeah. And again, just to remind everyone, the first and second place finishers here on PS4 will be qualified for that regional final, but first, second, and third place are in the money. First place taking home $250, second place taking home $150, and third place winning $100.
Here it is then. It is driver 13. He is going to be our first winner here in the Logitech G, United States of America. And remember the name, guys, driver 13, our first race winner. Dark King is going to finish in second. They both will qualify for the regional finals. And then our third placement here will be the Zebra, and he will pick up $100 just for showing up for a race on a Sunday afternoon. Great work there by the top three. Twisted XV3, he is in fourth position here. He's quite far off the pace, but again, the guys in this lobby would have learned a lot about themselves, would have learned a lot about the car, and also some of these people may have never raced in a transitional race with day and night. So again, a learning process for all of these, Frank, and moving forward, experience is key.
Yeah, these are all names we're going to want to keep an eye out as these weeks progress. Again, those qualifiers running all the way into August. There is plenty of time to learn. And again, like we mentioned, head on over to actualvision.com/GChallengeUSA. You can learn more about the races, get in the Discord, and get some help from this community, because I've noticed that everyone is so friendly, sharing all the information, learning. I wouldn't be surprised after this race to see a bunch of these guys in the chat talking about it, learning from it, critiquing. So yeah, keep an eye out on all of these names.
Absolutely. And also, I'm seeing a few people, I'm seeing Thinness in the chat go, oh, I'm worried about my throttle setup, so I don't really want to get involved. Come and sign up. Get yourself involved in the Discord. There are some big pro names. We're going to see them on PC. There are some big dogs from the world of esports racing, and they will help you out, my friend. So don't be discouraged. Come and give it a go, and then it is all good to her. But there's race number 1, Frank, and driver 13 was the start of the show.
Absolutely. And you know what? We are not done yet. Like we mentioned earlier, that was an incredible race we just witnessed, but we still have PC coming up. And our first drivers here qualified for that regional final. But again, one more race today. So guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the regional qualifiers on PC. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Logitech G Challenge USA Regional Qualifier. I'm Frank, and with me is Luke. Luke, we just saw a pretty intense and interesting first race on PS4, but now we're going to be moving on to PC. So before we kind of jump into the race here, I'm going to review the format again real quick, just for anyone who might be joining us now. So our racers today are competing in our regional qualifier, and we just saw our two racers from PS4 move on to our regional final. And then what this race is going to see, instead of two, we're going to have three racers from PC that will be moving on. So keep that in mind as you're watching here. And just to review the prize money as well, they're not just competing for that spot in the regional final. First place is going to be winning $250. Second place is going to be winning $150. And third place will earn $100 as well.
Yeah, incredible stuff. We've already seen two drivers qualify for the regional finals, and of course 3 drivers winning the money. And we've also seen that we have a pantomime villain already. Dark King is living up to that name as well.
That's right. And keep in mind, too, that once you're qualified for that regional final, you're going to be amongst our 40 qualified finalists that move on, and just one PC racer and one PS4 racer. After that, we'll be battling it out for $1,000, a Logitech G product bundle worth $800 in prizes, and a travel package to the Logitech G Challenge Global Final to face off against the winners of Europe, Asia Pacific, and Latin America, where we will crown the G Challenge champion. And that champion will also earn an invitation to compete in the finals of the McLaren Shadow Project.
Incredible prize. Like, McLaren Shadow are really pushing the boundaries of esports. We've seen teams like McLaren get involved. Fernando Alonso Racing, Fernando Alonso, one of the biggest names not only now in motorsport but ever, one of the absolute greats, has now got his own esports team, and they're really pushing the boundaries. And then companies like Logitech are really investing in the idea of creating new stars. So yeah, anyone from this competition could become the next big thing in sim racing.
Yeah, and we'll be racing again today on Laguna Seca for our PC regional qualifier. So once the lobby is all set, we'll head down to the track and start checking out our racers' time trials. But Luke, are there any familiar faces or anyone you might recognize that we should be keeping an eye on in this next race?
Yeah. There are some pretty good quick guys. So if people who don't know who I am, I actually run a racing organization called ACR. So I know quite a few drivers in terms of Project Cars 2 especially. And I can see here we've got Max A. Power, who's very fast indeed. He races in our United States League on a Wednesday evening. Dave Carten, he also races in that very same league. Then we've got X-Wolf, who is he's actually transitioned from PlayStation 4 to PC over the last 12 months. And yeah, he's one of the very quickest in America. But then the big dogs, as I like to call them, one of the very well-known esports teams in Project Cars 2 esports is THR. And they've got Operator, they have got Wild Win, and they've got Flip Mode, who's normally in the seat that we're in right now, the commentary seat. But he is an exceptional talent as well.
Yeah, and it's awesome to see. And, a lot of times people might be intimidated by those big names or familiar names. But I got to say, I've seen a ton of the THR guys in the Discord helping out some of these newer players, getting everyone familiar. And again, no pun intended, bringing everyone up to speed on what's going on with these races. So guys, don't be intimidated. Almost think of it as something to look up to or something to aspire to be, because there's a ton of opportunity. Again, this e-racing and sim racing is kind of a new thing. It's on the come up. So there's a ton of opportunity to reach out for with these races.
Well, like you said, on the flip side, these big dogs are there for the taking. Like if you can be someone no one's ever heard of before, you can fly under the radar. You could have some serious pace and no one's really going to be worried about you. So when you do sneak up and make that overtake, of the day, to take first position, then you make a name for yourself, so you could use that to your advantage. Obviously, you've only got one shot really of that. You can't be a surprise package more than once. But yeah, we could potentially see, for instance, Happy Smoke here. Never heard of him before, but he, quite could be the next best thing in Project Cars 2. Who knows?
Right. He might be a total surprise, flying under the radar. Maybe someone who's just didn't even know about these opportunities or these tournaments or these leagues before, and he's just been training up and he's very good. So that's kind of one of the unique things that we present with this Logitech G Challenge in our USA. And again, this is the first year that USA has been added as a region, and we're also running, our tournaments a little bit differently than some of the other regions if you've been familiar with that in the past. So we kind of have all of these weeks of qualifiers running all the way through August, and those qualifiers seed into our regional finals where all the racers from all those weeks will be battling it out, kind of a best of a best that seeds into the best of all those four regions. And again, you guys can go to actualvision.com/GChallengeUSA to take a look at all of that information. Get involved, join the Discord. Again, I can't stress it enough. I was blown away when I first got involved and kind of started taking a look at the sim racing community, because they have welcomed every single new driver in that Discord in these tournaments with open arms. I mean, it is truly something unique to see. If you've been, intimidated by online communities in the past and maybe thought, well, I really love this game, but I know how competitive communities can be and that it's usually maybe not the friendliest atmosphere. I gotta say, totally opposite within this racing community that I've seen. They have been great. And these THR guys, like you said, that they've proven their worth. They're definitely competent drivers, but at the same time, they're totally being helpful towards everyone in that Discord. So yeah, check out those website guys, join the Discord. Even if you're not thinking about competing, next week, maybe in the future, you get a little more comfortable, you get a little more experience out on the track, and then you go ahead and enter. So yeah, check out actualvision.com/GChallengeUSA and join the Discord and just, get involved.
Absolutely. You've got nothing to lose here, ladies and gentlemen. Genuinely, it is a great opportunity for you to race for prize money, but ultimately you get to, it's free just to race in a nice organized event once every 2 weeks. ultimately, that's what we all here for sim racing. We just want to have nice, clean battles and race against some of the best and improve week by week. But you've got an opportunity to win prizes and indeed progress your sim racing career. But we're on board here with Operator for me, who is one of the very fastest in the world. And he's going into this race as my favorite to win. That's for sure. You can see just the difference in style between what I would say was more of a beginner's lobby on PlayStation 4 to this. You can already see a 1:21.2, which is 3 seconds quicker than the PlayStation 4 drivers. And he's just using more of the track here, Frank. He's carrying a lot more speed through the corners, but he doesn't look like he's taking any chances with it either.
Yeah, and that's something to keep in mind too. Maybe just with the format, the first week you don't maybe need to take as many risks. Maybe as things progress and things get a little more stressful, a little more cutthroat, as we've start filling up those 40 finalists that are going to be moving on. Maybe that's when you start taking a couple more risks, because it does become a do or die situation with whether or not you're going to qualify and move on. But this first week, maybe we'll see racers taking it a little bit easier and just trying to play a little bit more consistently, race a little more safe. But then things will probably pick up in intensity as these weeks go on.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I would say that specifically though with Operator, it's just more to do with his experience levels. Like,
Yeah,
he is on the limit, but it just doesn't look like it to us. It's almost like a duck or a swan. Like, they look so graceful on top of the water, but underneath their legs are just going mental.
right.
So yeah, his brain's trying to compute all of this information, trying to get the most out of the lap, but it just looks so smooth to us watching at home. But he is definitely putting everything into this. But you can see he came into the pits straight after he came across the line, and that is to get a fresh set of tyres on the car instantly that will be in a better temperature range.
Okay, yeah. So, a lot of factors at play here in these races. So, yeah, things to keep an eye on, things that as you get more experience with this racing world, if you're looking to join in, there's people like Operator who, those little advantages that they look to take each way can stack up and add up and end up playing a big difference here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a lot of these, some of these drivers, like Operator here, right now, Wildwin as well, both THR drivers, they've got a lot of experience of not only online finals, but LAN finals as well. So they will, again, be one of the two favorites, really. X-Wolves is a strange one. So I run, like I said, an organization in racing. We have over 2,000 active drivers, and he was our first ever American winner in the Europe season. So, I mean, we've done thousands of races within ACR, and he's the first American to ever win. So that's the accolade that he will never, ever lose as well. No one can ever take that away from him.
Awesome. Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, too, just to remind everyone watching at home here, just a slight variation from the PS4 platform where our first and second place qualified. On PC, we'll be taking the top 3. So not only will the top 3 be earning prize money for this race, but the top 3 also qualify. So you might see a little bit more pressure, a little bit more battle within that pack as they jockey for that position as we watch this race here today.
Yeah, indeed. It's a bigger opportunity. But again, on the flip side there, it's also a max 24 in the final on PC. So there's more people to contend with as well. So, swings and roundabouts and all that. But right now, we're going to get, you can see the Operator is off after his first lap here already, 1.4 seconds clear of everybody. Wildwind's now on the fresh rubber with just under 4 minutes to go. X-Wolf then finds himself down in 3rd position here, which is pretty decent. We're actually going to stay on board with him until he finishes the lap, because this looks like a pretty tidy lap. And he specifically went a lot slower around towards the final corner on the lap before to try and cool his tyres down. So this is definitely him giving absolutely everything here at Laguna Seca. He's got a bit of slipstream here. I don't think he's going to be affected into the final corner, or he might be impeded a touch here, maybe actually, but he will have some slipstream on the exit, and actually he's going to get caught out there by the big mistake by that blue car in front of him, unfortunately. Across the line he goes, and actually he still improves here, Frank. So he's just taken 0.6 of a second off his time, but he's clearly been held up.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on that going forward as the race gets underway here. Still a little bit of time left in these qualifying time trials. But yeah, if he was being held up by that blue car a little bit, we might have some interesting battles for that first, second, and third place going forward.
Really a fan of THR making it very easy for us to know who they are. They've all gone for the same color car. And if you don't know what THR means, guys, it's Team Highlands Racing. I believe that they started from New Zealand. So they are dotted all around the world. They are very, very well respected within the sim racing world, especially within Project Cars and Forza. And yeah, they're a great bunch of guys. So go follow them on Twitter as well, guys, at Team Highlands Racing, THR. You cannot mistake the logo.
Right.
Yeah, but they've got 3 drivers in the top 4 right now. So, they're the only ones in this championship so far that could play the team game here, Frank. So, they could use, for instance, we're looking at X-Wolf here, who actually drives for Team ACR. He's got flip mode in behind him, but would Wildwind slow X-Wolf down so that Operator could drive off and get a comfortable lead, whilst holding X-Wolf up in the hope that flip mode could make an overtake, and we have a THR 1-2-3. They're the only ones with that luxury, and it's not against the rules. Like the team roles are of course going to come into play. Yeah,
and that'll be something to keep in mind too, even going forward, because it's not just this qualifier. We might see, okay, let's say one of them, let's say Operator and another member of THR qualifies, but one of the other teammates finishes in 4th or 5th. Well, then THR has that luxury. Well, we know these 2 racers qualified, so then they can try to bring their other teammate up and help him out, make sure he qualifies next weekend in the next race. So it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out, and maybe more teams start to get involved. Again, these tournaments and qualifiers running all the way through August. So there's a lot that can happen in that time.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the beauty of this competition is it's a free hit every week. So there's no, if the first race someone doesn't get 25 points for winning, and that if you didn't make the first week, you're 25 points behind. Like that's you're fine, because the next week everyone's on 0 again. Like it's a knockout competition effectively, but where each week everybody starts on a blank page. So it's a really nice concept here. You see now 21.040, so it's now over 3 seconds quicker than the PlayStation 4 times here by Operator, which is an incredible time here, especially in this car here. The McLaren 650S is raw pace is incredible, but it is a twitchy son of a gun. I can assure you that, guys. It's a real hard mistress to tame, but when you do, it is an absolute dream, and you really can get the most out of the GT3 series with this car. But again, it's just a very tough one to indeed tame.
Yeah, and that kind of plays into some of the prizing that we have too, that Logitech G bundle. Maybe you're just starting out and you don't have a racing wheel yet, and you're just playing on controller. Keep in mind that those Logitech G products are part of that prize pool, so that can really up your game too. Maybe you're having trouble controlling on controller, so you look to sort of upgrade your equipment. Well, hey, we've got that covered. Our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winners all winning cash prizes that you can then invest in those weeks going forward. So there's a lot to keep in mind here. There's a lot to potentially win. But then also, like you mentioned, I mean, it's pretty open. There's no cost for entry. It's free to sign up, free to enter. I know I was keeping an eye on the Discord earlier today, and you know what? Someone was planning on racing today, but one of their coworkers had to call in sick. They got called in, and it was like, oh, hey, that's no problem. I'll enter next week. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But keep in mind, with these races and these qualifiers going through August, if something like that comes up, well, it's not like you paid an entry fee or anything like that. You can just move forward and enter next week for your chance then.
Absolutely. We've got strange Dom here posting some nice comments in the chat here. Come and show us how good you are, my friend. You've got the opportunity. It's free to enter. You can talk all the business in chat, but we want to see you on stream and try and prove yourself as a big dog yourself. But right now then, Operator is on pole position with Wildwin in 2nd. X-Wolf then is in 3rd. So we've got an ACR driver splitting the THR drivers, but they've got 3 drivers in that top 4. But we're going to have clarification. Now, there we go then. So Team Highlands Racing have got Operator, Wildwin, and Flip Mode in that top 4. But then X-Wolf is in 3rd. Dave Carr, the first Canadian in the order here, then is in 5th. We've got the Tender Vigilante in 6th position. Max A Power then is in 7th. Racer 66 in 8th. Happy Smoke is in 9th. Then we've got Snakey, a Brazilian living in America, is in 10th. But also, guys, so that is a good point as well. If you are living in Canada and America and you are a different nationality, you can take part. It's about residency. So get yourselves involved. But that's our top 10. Frank, this could be an incredible race.
Yeah, I was already excited by the first one on PS4, but now with the THR squad here and watching those posted times earlier. Man, this one's got me just itching to see what happens here today as we go live and get this race underway.
Absolutely. Just again, waiting for these guys to indeed get, they're just doing their little creature comforts and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, they may have, again, their favorite pillow, or they might have their favorite drink that they need there. They maybe a couple of settings they need to change on the wheel. Maybe especially if they're using a wheel like Logitech, you can change the settings outside of the game with the Logitech app. So they may be changing the rotation, they may be changing all sorts. There's so many different options. It's so technical these days. Or they just might be relieving themselves, like having a pee break. It could be just something as simple as that.
Yep.
But again, you see some of these guys would have gone into the pits a couple of minutes early in qualifying because they would have got the maximum out of the car, and that's it. And they don't want to then go into a worse lap. They want to start the race in that kind of form. But I'm talking rubbish as I always do, guys. But now we're here for a race time. Then we got the red lights coming up on screen, and it's our first PC race here of the Logitech G United States of America Challenge, and we are off. Then it's a great start by operator, but Wildwind then has been displaced down into. I think he's going to end up into 5th position here, and there we go. A little bit of argy-bargy in the background, and I think it's going to be 6th then for Wildwind. Operator leads here. X-Wolf is in second. Oh, that is a really late braking there by Vigilante, and he's so lucky that he's threaded the needle there because he nearly cleaned out half the field, and that is not the kind of driving we want to see. But the front three are through nicely here. You can see that, Wildwind's trying to get back up into that top 4 here, but he's got to get past Vigilante once again. And again, he's lucky to get away with that. And he's being squeezed onto the curb there. Wildwind has got the outright pace. We've seen him qualify in 2nd position, but this is the part of the race where he needs to be careful, Frank, right?
Yeah, it's interesting to see even the difference between PS4 and PC, how tight this pack is, how competitive this pack is. Again, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are going to be qualifying for that final, but everyone here is so close. I mean, this could really go any way.
Yeah, absolutely, and they are very, very close. And I'll tell you what, I may have called Vigilante out for his brake move into turn number 1, but I think it's a genuine mistake because he just went side by side with Wildwind for corner after corner, and there was no contact. So a huge fan of that. And again, it must have been a one-off mistake. And a cold brakes in the car, you've just qualified. I tell you what, just in behind here, we got Wildwind on the penalty, by the way, as well. So penalty for Wildwind is 1 second. So that's going to put him into some serious trouble here. Big mistake there by Vigilante. And again, the last thing you want to do is make a mistake on a corner that leads onto a big long straight because you're going to be caught up in behind. But look at this then. We've got Snakey in P9 here. In P8, we've got Racer 66. Is he going to make a little move up the inside here? No, he's actually quite respectful. Vigilante makes a mistake here. We're going to go on board with Max Power. Can Max get on the power early enough? No, he can't. So Vigilante will indeed hold on. And, actually, there's a nice little gap then for the front 4 to sort of disappear. And you can see that Flip Mode is in behind his teammate Wildwood. And I think Flip Mode's let him go. But still on board with Max Power here. And again, Vigilante just making a little mistake here. And Max Power is going to make it up into a P5 then. And Vigilante on lap number 2 here, looking a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, interesting seeing all these, and like you mentioned, some of these names a little bit more experienced. They've been around for a while. You're a little bit more familiar with them. So it's interesting to see those technicalities, the moves they're able to take, the gaps they're able to find out on the track today. This being the first race, even a couple of those moves we just saw at the beginning here makes me super excited for all the races going forward.
Absolutely. So, this is the first week. This is the first ever USA Challenge. So, the numbers aren't as high as what they would be. But I know there's some incredible drivers there that have been, this week they're not available because of, weddings and just general family stuff. And it is Sunday, of course. But we're going to see some really good drivers coming through over the next few weeks. But right now, you can see already the talent we've got on show. The top 3 are now Operator in first, X-Wolf in second. And he's not being dropped by Operator here. So they're both lapping very similar times, about 0.6 between them. Then in behind, we have got Wildwind, who's lapping the same as second position here. We've only lost one driver from the race. They left at turn 3, so they must have been involved in some sort of altercation with somebody else. But you can see here that in the mid-pack here, 9th up to about 5th position. And again, the person in 5th right now is not far behind Flip Mode, but they need to get up to that top 3. So, it's only the top 3 that matters here, Frank, right?
Right. But keep in mind those penalties as well. I believe that red number 3 where you see on Wildwind there indicating that he's got a penalty. So those can factor in and add up over the course of the race, where if those seconds are added on as everyone finishes, that could bump you out of that spot. So we could see flip mode then bumped up into...
Oh, that's a penalty. That's a slowdown penalty. He's tried to take it off the racing line as well. And he's actually going to slow someone up here, but he had really good intentions there. And well, you see there, he's got a little bit of argy-bargy then with Vigilante. Actually, Vigilante's in 5th now. That was with Racer 66. But you can see there that Max... is the way he's slowed down and he was flashing his lights. That's actually a rule in my community. So if you make a mistake and you have a slowdown penalty, you need to flash your lights to let everyone know that you're coming back up to speed.
Okay.
So it's just a warning, and he was doing that here with Logitech G Challenge. So it's great to see that he's transitioning it to all of the racing he does. Little by little, we're making online racing a little bit cleaner and a little bit faster. So that's really cool to see. But yeah, we got a few people asking, what is this? Well, this is the Logitech G Challenge USA. So basically, we have got 8 rounds of racing. Every single week, you guys will be able to race for $250 for first position on PlayStation 4 and PC, $150 a second, and $100 for third. Each week, top 2 from PlayStation 4 will qualify for the regional final, which will be held later on this year. And on PC, it'll be the top 3 every single week. So we'll have 24 finalists on PC. We'll have 16 finalists on PS4. Then you get to battle it out for $1,000 win. Oh, it's a late move up the inside here, but he's going to get it stuck, I think, as well. And actually, he's decided to wait again here. And I don't think he needed to there, Frank. That didn't look too dirty for me. I think there was an opportunity. He sent it, but he felt really bad about it.
Yeah, and it might be a little bit of nerves, again, like you were going through. This is our first week of the Logitech G Challenge USA qualifier, so might not want to make a bad impression, going forward, not get on anyone's bad side. Or like we had mentioned earlier, I mean, the racing community just seems so welcoming and friendly. It might just be, hey, he's a good guy and he's not trying to ruin anyone's day out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. But that is the beauty of sim racing. It is the only esport where you have a direct effect on somebody else's performance. So in Call of Duty, you're supposed to kill people, right? That's right. Like that. If you kill someone, that is your job. When you're playing things like FIFA, you're supposed to score against the opposition. With racing, you're not allowed to take people out, but you can. So there is always, you have that direct effect on your opponent. Of course, it gets dealt with. We have proper admin things in place, procedures in place, but you can have a direct effect on someone else's performance. And, with my experience over the last 3 years, I've seen it happen time after time.
Yeah. Well, we even saw it a little bit maybe earlier today with that battle between Dark and the Zebra.
Big news. Big news here. X-Wolf out the top 3 here. It's a THR 1, 2, 3. So we've got Operator in first. We've got Wildwind in second. And now Flip Mode is in third position. So the top 3, well, all of the THR boys are looking like they're going through here.
Yeah, and that'll be cool to watch going forward. We'll have to see if they can maintain that dominance not only through today's race, but then in the weeks ahead too. Because keep in mind, once you qualify, you are qualified. You won't be able to qualify twice, but you still can win that money each week. So, the THR guys can win that $250, $150, and $100 each week. But if they take all 3 of those spots, and then they take all 3 of those spots next week, then it gets bumped down to the other competitors and they will qualify. So just a little bit of a clarification on how the rules would work going forward. But yeah, they are looking absolutely impressive out on this track today.
Yeah, they're smashing it to pieces here today. Again, it'd be such a huge, huge victory for THR if they did get the 1, 2, 3. Like, that is the holy grail of team motorsport, to get a 1, 2, 3, especially with all the prize money as well. But X-Wolf will not let that happen. Flipbo's probably the slower of the 3 drivers from what we've seen thus far, but of course, he's still in the top 3 right now. He's no mug. He's a bloody good driver.
Right.
We talk about the Logitech G Challenge. There's not only a G Challenge in the United States of America. We have got Latin America. We have got Pacific Asia, and we have also got Europe as well. But the one unique thing about the United States of America is we are playing for money at every stage of the competition. So every week there is $1,000 up for grabs. The regional final, the winners will get $1,000, and then of course you get the Logitech and PlaySeat goodie bag, I guess, the care package worth
Yeah.
$800. But then if you get through that, there's a mistake here by flip mode. I think X-Wolf's not quite close enough to take full advantage. But if you get through that stage, if you become the champion of the Logitech G Challenge, you can potentially race or become a genuine employee of McLaren. Like, how ridiculous is that?
Right. I mean, the opportunity here is amazing, and like we were saying earlier, we can seed up to much bigger lobbies than this. This is just the first week, so this can fill up, and you can really make a name for yourself. One, really advertise yourself, and then with all these opportunities throughout all of these weeks, there's a great chance that you will be in the running for that. And I think that's just a really cool aspect of this first year of the USA division.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's an opportunity for anybody to become somebody. It is as simple as that. And ultimately, if maybe you're not the fastest in the world, maybe you don't even know your pace, but even if you just sign up just to have fun and in racing in an organized environment, that's what we all dream of in sim racing. The public lobbies are a killer of our mojos at most time. So this is an opportunity for you guys to race at an esports level. And if you qualify, if you manage to get the top 3, first of all, you get money. Mistake here by flip mode, then X-Wolf's going to maybe look for a move, and he doesn't. He's going to be very patient here. Still half the race to go, Frank, but it's looking more and more likely that X-Wolf is going to take that 3rd spot here. Flip mode has made a couple of big mistakes on that last lap, and it looks like his exit is where the problem is. He keeps running a little bit too wide and getting too much curb, and lighting up the rears in the car will not stay straight when you keep doing that.
Yeah, and we see sort of the dusk falling here on the course. Again, that time is sped up, so racers will have to deal with that a little bit of a different environment. But watching these more experienced players here on PC handle it, it's going to be interesting to see, because I think we saw a couple of the PS4 racers maybe get caught off guard by that as the tires cooled down. But I'm interested to see how these more experienced players kind of handle it and how these positions shift up.
Yeah, for sure. I know from my experience that both of these guys have got a lot of time in racing. So they've got a lot of experienced hours here. And I also know here that if X-Wolf does go up the inside, he is not going to be clattered off track by someone like Flip Mode, because he's a very, very sensible driver. But I tell you what, there's something a little bit more interesting here for P5. Look at this then. We've got a 3-way battle. And while we've got a mistake there by Vigilante, Max Power up the inside towards the corkscrew is up into P6 now. And now he's chasing down, Racer 66, who is letting us all know that he is indeed racing in VR. But look at this. Max Power has started to find his mojo once again. And in all fairness, look how close X-Wolf and Flip Mode are. If they have a bit of an accident here, Frank, there's every reason to suggest that one of these guys could sneak themselves into that top 3.
Yeah. So those top 3 guys on PC here are going to be qualifying and also in the money. So when you have moves like these being made, and again, those penalties can come into effect too. If one of those were to happen here, we could see something we didn't expect by the end of this race in our top 3 finishers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really quite interesting here. It's actually only 0.4 of a second between X-Wolf and Flipmo. So we've got 2 stories here to tell you then, guys. So right now, the top 3 automatically qualify for our regional final, and also the top 3 win prize money. So right now, the red car right in front of you sits on $100. If X-Wolf is to make the overtake, he would then take that automatic qualification and, of course, the $100. So there's a lot on the line here, but then there's a group behind. We've got Max Power and Racer 66. They're hoping that these two have a bit of a mistake. There's only 6 seconds separating these two and then the drivers behind them, and they could maybe come in and sneak that P3 here. So there's about 4 drivers here who could potentially get a P3.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out coming into this turn here. Yeah, man. I mean, they are really battling it out. But like you said,
it's gone! Oh, that is huge. That's it. That's game over. He will be damaged in the car. It's not a track you want to be driving damaged, that's for sure. You need to be so precise around a circle like this. And that is terminal. That is his race over, battling for P3. So now it's looking very, very likely that we are going to have a full THR podium here. Unless Flip Mode makes a mistake, it's looking more than likely that Team Highlands Racing are going to get a 1, 2, 3.
Man, that is absolutely heartbreaking there to see something like that happen. But again, just to remind everyone that there are, 8 total qualifiers. So plenty more opportunity, even if you're out of the race like that. Maybe you enter on PS4 or during one of the other weeks. You can always come back in a few weeks and try again and improve your time and improve your performance. But just kind of heartbreaking to see something like that happen in such an intense battle.
Yeah, well, we saw on PlayStation 4 that it was more beginners sort of lobby, if you like, in terms of time. But, the high pressure environment that we've had here with the top 4, especially maybe even top 5. Look at this then, Racer then, trying to go up the inside here of Vigilante, and they come up towards the left-hander before they go up towards the corkscrew, and Racer all the way around the outside. Oh, and he makes it stick here. Vigilante all out at sea, and now we've got Racer up into a P5.
Yeah. THR, though, still holding on to those first 3, but a lot of impressive drivers in that 4, 5, and 6 position. So it'll be cool going those weeks forward, seeing how all of this shakes out. Again, just to remind everyone, if all of THR qualifies this week, then those qualification spots will be open, even if they enter in the following weeks.
Yeah, look at that car. Looks very, very sick here indeed. But, there's a big mistake. There's one car. One less to overtake here then for X-Wolf. Again, I was talking about the high pressurized environment at the front end of this. And, the guys that were at the front, the THR guys and X-Wolf, they are some of the very quickest guys in the world. So, again, they are on the limit consistently. Flip mode now may take a couple of seconds off his lap times with only 5 minutes to go. But actually, he's got max power pretty close to him. Now, it's only 5 seconds. So, flip mode makes another mistake. We could see max power qualify through today.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how that shakes out. Again, first, second, and third place today going to be winning $250 for first, $150 for second, and $150 for third. So potentially a big payday for THR unless one of these other drivers can make something happen towards the end here.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw X-Wolf make that big mistake. He's someone that's not known for making mistakes. So, around a circuit like this, it's hard enough as it is to try and get traction when it's the middle of the day. Oh, Vigilante. Oh, who's that making a mistake there then? So Max Power, that's not one of the lead drivers. No, it wasn't. So that was a back marker there. Again, not too sure who that was. I think that might have been Bones. It is Bones. You can see Bones now. He actually bought this game last night specifically for this championship. So he's never raced in this game before, Frank, and that's what the opportunity is there for people. Everyone is watching right now.
I mean,
there's your proof.
Yeah, I was reading in the Discord. I was following his story because it was interesting to see because and typically in other communities, I saw him join into the Discord and was just like, hey, I just bought this game. I'm looking to try it out. And typically, in other games, maybe you might feel a little bit left out or anything like that. But I mean, even the THR guys, everyone just rallied around him. They helped him get his equipment set up, make sure he knew how to join the race, what to expect, what settings he needed to be playing on, and just really held his hand through that entire process. So guys, if you're at all interested in joining, do not hesitate. We had someone, like you said, buy the game last night and he's in a race today. So even though his time might not be the best, he's getting that experience in a competitive environment, and that can be tough to get too. Like we mentioned with the PS4 racers, sometimes if you're just doing time trials, you might think you're pretty fast, but being in that organized, competitive environment, that kind of experience is really priceless and sometimes hard to get. So with this Logitech G Challenge USA qualifiers, it's a great opportunity to get that experience and really step your game up in that way.
Yeah, like you said, everyone needs a bit of help with their equipment every now and again. So yeah, it's good to see the THR guys indeed doing that with Bones, and Bones giving it a go. Again, There's no disgrace. There's no disgrace in turning up and duking it out with the best. This is the best experience for him right now. He may not know. He's not obviously just bought the game, so he may not even know who these people are. But he is genuinely racing against the very best in the world. And he's had the opportunity his first ever online race. So again, anyone at home right now, you've got that opportunity. Come and do it. You've got nothing to lose, ladies and gentlemen. It is the second week next week. Then it's going to be every other week for the rest of the competition. And even if you don't win any money, does it matter? If you just it's all about being competitive and growing the esports scene. And you never know, you might surprise yourself and you might be the next Igor Fraga.
Right. And even just to say, hey, look, that's me on stream racing with the THR guys. Even if you don't move on to the finals or win any money, that's still a cool opportunity in its own right. And just because he bought the game last night and signed up, I mean, people at home might be saying, oh, I'm better than this guy. I could be racing. Well, come out and prove it, right?
Yeah,
get on stream and let's see you out on the track.
Put those chips in the middle of that table and let's see what you're made of. Very, very simple. I tell you what, it is tight for this P3. Max Power is right behind Flip Mode here. So we're going to have, one more lap remaining in this race here. And it's going to be a last lap shootout between Max A Power and between Flip Mode. And now X-Wolf's P5. So if these two are coming together, I can't see it happening. They're both very respectful drivers. But, we could see X-Wolf back up into a top 3, but right behind him is Vigilante. So Vigilante still with that opportunity. Of course, it's dark now. The track is very, very sliding. We're going to see more mistakes. But right now, it's between these two for that final qualification position to the regional final. Max there on the brakes a lot later, and actually Flip Mode there, being clever, getting on the brakes a little bit earlier and making sure that there's no opportunity to go past here. You can see Max then trying to make the room around the outside here of turn number 3, and he's going to run onto that curb. That's not what he wants to do. Do not run onto the curbs here because that is where you will indeed die. Through turn number 4, again, using too much curb. I guess it is high risk, high reward. It is, you've got to try and get this position done now, rather than later, because he's only got 1 lap to do so. Up towards then turn number 7 and then up towards the corkscrew here. And, it's a blind left-hander at the best of times, let alone with no sun in the air. Actually, Flip Mode's taking a bad line through there. You can see a little bit of desert being churned up by that red McLaren. And can Max Power get 3rd position here at the death? He's going to try and go the long way round here, try and get a better entrance through the corkscrew. Can he get a decent exit here? And he does, round the outside. Can he get the move done here? Flip Mode's been hung out to dry, and Max A Power takes P3 here in the first round of the Logitech G Challenge USA. Incredible scenes here. We actually are going to have potentially 1 more lap, are we? Yeah, hold on. No, operator is in P1. So we're going to have 1 more lap here between Max, to be fair. And actually, Flip Mode's falling right off the wayside here. So he made a big mistake out of that corkscrew. And wow, Frank, for anyone who's new to this, welcome to esports sim racing.
Man, that was absolutely incredible. And I got to say, too, keep in mind earlier on the race, I believe it was Max Power there who took that slowdown, very respectful, but battled his way back. And then we saw an incredible overtake there. So it really is, anyone's game here as he bumps down Flip Mode from that 3rd place spot and threatens that THR triple take.
Well, we've, of course, found our bad guy today with Dark King, and now we found the good guy.
That's
Max
right.
Power here in P3, but he's still got a lot of work to do here. He's still got to negotiate the final 2 sectors of this circuit. But I tell you what, it's all about THR Operator because he has crossed the line. He is $250 richer. And the sweetest part of this deal is that Wildwin, his teammate, will be on that podium as well. So it is Operator in first, Wildwin in 2nd spot. Can Max Power hold on for the rest of this race then? He made that sensational overtake at this very part of the track in the last lap. And, he's duly deserved it again. With the slowdown penalty, took it very respectfully. He did flash the lights to let everyone know that he was going slower earlier in the race. Went down to P7, and he's made his way back up to P3. And, here we go then. $100 richer. Position in the regional final for Max A Power. He will complete our podium here. And, he's really upset the THR boys because they had a 1, 2, 3 ready to rock and roll. But it's not going to be happening for them. So it's going to be Operator for THR. It's going to be Wildwin in 2nd for THR. And Max A Power rounds out our qualifiers.
Man, I think we already might have a crowd favorite on our hands with Max A Power. The respectful driving and then the clutch at the very end to not only qualify for those regional finals, but also earn himself $100. So keep in mind, too, going forward here, we're going to have to see if the THR guys, how that team element might come into play in these future races and whether they're going to have to try to help out Flip Mode or play, a little defensive or see how that shakes out going forward. But very, very impressive stuff out of really all of these drivers today.
Yeah, we've seen a huge difference in talent. We've seen some very much beginners, and we've seen some seasoned pros, and then we've seen a little bit in between. We've seen someone like, I know Max A Power has got some, he's got some tech, he's pretty damn good at sim racing, but he's just taken it to the next level now, and that's what it's always all about. A lot of people look at sim racing or any esports, and they're just like, well, this guy's the best. This guy, look at, the Call of Duty esports. They say the 100 Thieves are the best team right now, but they're beatable. There's younger players that are, they're not quite. There's a few really good youngsters at about 17 who can't quite compete at the top level, but they can improve. So there's a lot of guys here that don't want to rest on their laurels. They don't want to give the opportunities to the lesser known players or the younger players to reach that next level because there's always room to improve in any form of real sports or esports.
That's right. Yeah. And definitely that opportunity to improve is here with this Logitech G Challenge, with these USA regional qualifiers. Like you had mentioned the story earlier, even Bones, picked up the game last night, and now he's on stream and we're talking about him. So the opportunity is out there, guys. So be sure to check out, you can either follow us at Team Beyond Net on Twitter, or go to actualvision.com/G Challenge USA and find out more information there. You can get yourself signed up, get yourself in the Discord, get your questions answered, and get involved and get racing. Again, like you had mentioned, we have our next race coming up this coming Sunday. So we'll be racing again then, and then every 2 weeks after that. So plenty of time to get involved. Luke, where can people find you and find out more information as well?
Yeah, so I run the actualvision.com website. I not run the website, but I run the community there. We, have loads of racing. So to get hold of me specifically about this competition, to ask any questions about it, just head to Twitter, actualvision on Twitter, which my DMs have been left open specifically for this competition. So you guys can come in there and say hello. And I'm more than happy to talk you through how you can get yourselves involved. And you could, like I said, you could be the next Jamie Chadwick. She is one of the best female sim racers, and now she races in the W Series. Or you could become the next Igor Fraga. If you don't know who Igor Fraga is, search him on the internet and you can realize his story is incredible, and you could be the next one.
Yeah, so absolutely exciting things happening in the world of sim racing. We've just seeded our first race for our first qualifier of the Logitech G Challenge USA. So I think that's going to be wrapping things up for today, guys. But everyone out there tuning in on the stream, thank you for joining us. But be sure to tune in next Sunday, June 30th. We'll be holding our second online qualifier then, and spread the word on social media. And if you want more info for yourself, or you want to let someone else know who's into racing or sim racing or interested in even competing, again, you can check out teambeyond.net. We'll have links to all of this information as well, or that actualvision.com. You can go there, check us out on Twitter. We'd be happy to help you find more information, get you in the Discord, all of those sorts of things, and get you out there on the track. So, Luke, anything you want to say before we end our first qualifier here?
No, not really. I just think we've had a really good first round. You guys know that the opportunities now are endless. A huge thank you to Logitech, to Playseat, to the Beyond team as well. They're putting on these events. They're investing in the future of sim racing. And actually, I want to say a huge thank you to you, Frank, because I believe this is your first experience within sim racing. And I must say, you've absolutely smashed it to pieces.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on, too. I knew that if there was a technical guy that I needed, I could, talk about prize money and all that sort of stuff. But man, you were giving me chills while we were watching that the last race between Max Power and Flip Mode going there. I was sitting back just like taking it all in. Absolutely captivating stuff from you. So love working with you here too, Luke. But I think that's gonna probably about do it for today, guys. So thank you again for tuning in. That'll be all for today, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Take care.